Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Start the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome in to another episode of the Triple Play Fantasy Baseball Show, a proud member of Fantasy Points and the Fantasy Points Media Group. D. Mendy here, joined by a little Cheesecake Marty Party Doc and a very special guest that we'll get to in just a second. Marty Party, starting with you first. You are not in your normal location. You are actually making the extra effort to record from a hotel tonight. What happened?
Well, I am in Charlevoix, Michigan. For all those Michiganders, that is about as north as you can go without going up to the Upper Peninsula. So it is shoddy internet at best. So if I drop off, it's always great to see you, especially our guest here. But yeah, plumbing problems are no joke. I won't go into what the bill will probably be, but even when you have insurance, it doesn't matter.
I tell you, I'm scared to be a homeowner at some point in the next couple of years, just for those types of reasons. But your dedication is definitely something we all respect here. So whether you're in or you're out, we all appreciate you trying to be here. LC is always here with his baseball hat. Got the blue headphones going tonight. He's got the smile we all love. Cheesecake, what's going on?
I think stranded in Charlevoix is my new
Charlevoix.
Charlevoix is my new term for being like.
I want to hear you try to
up a river without a paddle. Oh man, rough week. I've been stranded in Charlevoix all week. That's like up a creek without a paddle now. I think it's a great term.
That will be one of the terms we have that you use to describe a player that will be the word of the week or phrase of the week.
You didn't send us a text prior this time, though.
Yeah, you guys haven't been pulling your weight, and David, you don't have the soundboard out. What fun is it?
That's true. That voice you hear, of course, is Doc, who is, I think, really excited for the show tonight because he has an old rival on the show.
Oh, yeah. I know. Rival means that it goes both ways. It's just been going one way in my direction.
This is the Cincinnati Bengals and Kansas City Chiefs. We got to see that they can top the David versus Goliath here. So we could see if that could go down here tonight. But we teased it enough. We've got our special guest, one of our best friends of the podcast, if you've been listening over the years. We welcome in a man who should be subscribed to the BGN network, and that's Baseball, Golf, and Nooners. He is co-owner of Gaining the Edge, part of Fantasy Pros, part of Baseball HQ. He's also doing tons of golf content, Always Press DFS, part of the FSWA, Tout Wars, and don't even mention the amount of podcasts this guy puts out every single week. He's got Bench with Bubba. He's got Bubba in the Bathroom. He's got Bubba in the Bloom. This guy is a grinder. He's a baseball haver, baseball lover. There's so many things. I could do a whole show just talk about what he does, but I want to hear his voice. So we welcome in KC Bubba. What's up, man?
What is up, Triple Play Fantasy boys? I love these play. I've been pumped for this all day. I've already done 2 shows today. I got one more to go later. This is what I've been looking forward to all day long. I love these guys. I love all of you. Arizona, the Triple Play Fantasy House was in that building. I got my boy Little Cheesecake right here with the baseball. I guess this is where it's at. I love it because it doesn't even no BS. This is the show I love doing. It's a great time. Time flies when you're having fun, and this will be over before we know it, unfortunately. But I love, and Marty's making the effort, man. And hotel Wi-Fi is no joke, especially in BFE, Michigan, wherever he's at. Like, that is going to be ridiculous stuff there. So I am beyond pumped for this. I have so many things I could say, but I'll stop talking because this is where it's at, folks. Like, this is we need to record at a bar sometime because I did. I held up my end of the bargain, Mindy. I got my noons. I don't know about you. I got mine.
So you're better for both of us. I have a big exam that I have to take tomorrow in the morning. So I made my wife made the executive decision for me.
And there's the honesty coming out in a married man all of a sudden.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm with you. What flavors did you pick for the show tonight?
I have my favorite, which we talked about, grapefruit, which not everybody's favorite. And then because I got the new tailgate pack, so I have a cranberry sitting right here to sip on. So we're gonna have some fun on this third base podcast. I don't know if I'm supposed to ruin the joke, the storyline there, but the hot corner is gonna get really hot for one Doc down there. That's all I have to say.
I love the tease. And we got already Uncle Ted saying Gunnar Henderson, someone he already wants to talk about tonight. I think we will discuss a little Gunnar Henderson. But Bubba let it off beautifully. That's why he's one of the best hosts out there. Talking about third base as we get into our third base preview for the Triple Play Fantasy position previews. So many great ones at the top. Maybe as we get along here, it's not the case. This is a very top-heavy position. And our goal is to help you guys not just talk about in the beginning of drafts where you like to target third baseman, but when we get down the list, who you should be looking at this very thin position. Let's kick things off here. And Bubba, I'm, of course, go to you first. For your first guy going inside the top 10, and this is over the last 2 weeks over on the NFBC, you are going right at the top. No games here. This is the guy you want, and you're going to spend the capital to get him, and Jose Ramirez.
Well, I said J-Ram is the easiest answer, so I'm going to be nice and go elsewhere on this one to the guy next to the one I gave you in the outline, because J-Ram, like, I don't have to say anything about the man. The guy's GOAT. He's the legend, and he's got the dad bod to go with it. It's like, how can you not love this man? That's fantasy analysis you get from me right there. So you got that. But I'm going to go with Nolan Arenado just because I don't think he gets the respect he deserves when it comes to what he brings to the table at third base. When we you talk about a guy that's a perennial 30 home run guy. It's been 7-8 straight seasons with at least 30 home runs, back-to-back 30-plus home runs in St. Louis where, oh, my goodness, he couldn't do it because it's not Coors Field. Hits for average at 293 last year, but even if he goes back to his 250, 260 ways, totally fine. More importantly, he's 100 RBIs over and over and over again. So I love what he does. He lowered his strikeout rate from 14.7 in 21 to 11.6. So the contact skills are elite. Going to be turning 32, so there's always maybe things will slow down. But we said that about a first baseman on his team named Paul Goldschmidt. That has not been the case. I love Arenado. I think if you wait on third base, which is not the most popular thing to do, which we will obviously talk about tonight, I think Arenado is a good fallback plan that just kind of people think he's boring is what it comes down to. He's a boring third baseman because doesn't steal many bags, stole 5 last year. And we've seen St. Louis become a little more run happy because even Goldie stole more last year. Tommy Tanks steals his bags. It's an option as well. So if you give me a guy that's going to give me 30 home runs, good batting average, and 100 RBIs, throw in some solid runs and stolen bases, I love Arenado, and you don't have to pay a premium for him, and you still get a top 10 third baseman. So that I just want to give a little shout to Mr. Nolan Arenado. But yes, it's J-Ram than everybody else, 100%.
Gosh.
Well, I was gonna say you're talking the love language to Doc. If Doc could marry Nolan
I'm just buttering him
Arenado,
up, folks. I am buttering him up.
You are.
Don't you worry.
That was beautiful. Everything you said, I agree with.
Doc, if you could marry Nolan Arenado, you would.
And Bubba, you know those 5 stolen bases last year were a career high for him.
Yep, it's crazy, and it goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. I can even run when I have to. Like if you have a dog chasing me, I can run. But anything's possible.
Doc, I'm actually kind of shocked in the outline you didn't go with Nolan Arenado, and you decided to go a different direction with your brother here, Alex Bregman. And why don't you tell us a little bit? Because Marty also is all over Alex Bregman this year, so you guys can kind of tag team this one.
Yeah, so with Bregman, I did make a sign for him, and he acknowledged it. So Alex Bregman knows I exist out there. And the reason I didn't pick Arenado is this is the highest his ADP has been in a while. Alex Bregman had more walks last year, 87, than he had strikeouts, 77. So that's literally, to me, the definition of a professional hitter. The BABIP was 260, well below his career average of 265. He's going to give you 20-plus home runs, 23 last year. Look, he's not going to give you 41 like he had in the Happy Fun Ball era in 2019, but hit 31 in 2018. The counting stats are there. Add Jose Abreu to that stacked lineup. His protection behind him. He has good table setters in front of him. He's hitting third. So where he's going, I think that's a steal, and especially in points leagues because he's not going to strike out a lot. ADP of 71 on NFBC.
Marty, Doc's at the table for you, so you want to go ahead and clean up. What else?
Yeah, you said my favorite one, which is the 87 walks and only 77 strikeouts. That's pretty incredible. He's the 7th third baseman off the board, and overall, what he represents to me is that he is the last safe third baseman. Like right after him, I think it falls off a cliff. So I believe you have to get him before it's too late. He rarely strikes out, walks at elite level. And did you know the Bad X projection has him hitting more home runs, having a better batting average, more runs and RBI than Mr. Nolan Arenado.
Wow.
And you get him about 3 rounds later. So yeah, I love the safety that he
What's
represents.
what's this bat projection you talk about? I guess it's like
The
a
Bat
good.
X.
Oh, sorry. The bat. Is this like a special thing we're supposed to look at here? The Bat X. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. For those, don't go
Sorry,
straight to
Derek.
Cardi and tell
Where,
him.
yeah,
go
like,
to
where's
Dean.
Derek
Yeah.
Cardi at?
Yeah. He was already mad at me on Friday night in FPAS. Let's not go any farther. We're good.
Ted's got a couple of our guys. Ted, I want to hold off. You got to talk about Matt Chapman and Josh Young. We'll be talking about those guys in the next range because those are some interesting players. But it is interesting, Marty, you mentioned the cliff because after Alex Bregman, you get to a rookie in Gunnar Henderson going 24 picks later. And then you get to Max Muncy and Jose Miranda, which that'll be a whole nother discussion we'll get to in a minute. But the cliff is real. And I do think it is the top 7. And then there's a huge gap there. So more emphasis to get the last guy in that tier and Alex Bregman. LC, though, you are somebody that is siding with somebody that I think many of us were skeptical. I can definitely put myself in that group. Last year, we didn't think Austin Riley was going to repeat what we saw in his rookie season, and he did show out. And now you are all in on the Austin Riley train, and he is right now going the 4th third baseman off the board at pick 19. That's not too rich for you at this point, is it?
No, it's not too rich for me. And I'll tell you, being in this analyst game, sometimes you hear, listen to another show and you hear someone who's better known than you make a point that you were about to make. So you're like, someone's going to think that I stole it from them. I didn't. I'm going to make the same damn point.
You do that, Elsie. Go ahead.
But the other day, Vlad on his podcast, Vlad Sedler was talking about how Riley is kind of like the Pete Alonso of third base. Riley definitely has the best power profile of third baseman, like Alonso does. And for me, I'm starting as I'm gearing up, honing my projections and honing my draft board. I'm starting to think that Riley might be someone you prefer over Alonso because of the depth of the position, because of the fact that as you get later into third baseman, the power bats that you can get later, deeper in the draft, like Muncy and maybe Drury, are probably more valuable at other positions. The power, the depth of, like, let's say first base later, there's a lot of power late. Guys like Tellez, guys like Bell, guys. There's a lot more options there. So with the difference in them, I can definitely say, oh, he is the Alonso, and maybe because of the position depth, he might be above Alonso on my board now. Now, why do I like Riley? Well, he is the premier power bat at third base. You saw his BABIP drop last season by 53 points, but he still hit 273, down from 303 in 2021. So I think that what you could be looking at is sort of like a two different sides of the coin. Maybe the BABIP goes back up somewhere, not all the way up to the nearly 370 that he hit in 2021. But if it gets back up to 330 instead of the 315, which he finished with, then maybe he's hitting 280, 285. And where you really want to see the growth in Riley, and where I am hoping and kind of expecting a little bit, is in his runs plus RBIs. Now, that Atlanta offense, it's getting Albies back. It lost Swanson, but it's getting Albies back. Traded Contreras for Murphy. Riley's hitting third in that offense. He's going to be 26 this year. The chance for him to really hit that 200 plus runs plus RBIs and really give you that fantasy value in that second round draft price, I think is there. I really like where he's going, especially because third base, it kind of stinks beyond the first couple.
We have Austin Riley going at pick 19, and then you have Pete Alonso. I'm going to double check.
He's at 18.
At 18. Is it really right back to back?
I think so. I did it like
You're
2
right.
hours ago.
Yeah.
So he's right there. So yeah.
Who would you? Let's go around the horn real quick. Bubba, who would you rather have, Pete Alonso or Austin Riley in a vacuum?
In a vacuum, I'd probably still go Pete, but I agree with everything Doc said, and I don't have a cool hat to do it with, so I it's not the luxury. But I do want to back up something that Cheesecake said, that the positional thing, like when he's doing his projections, getting his draft board planned out, it might make more sense to go with Riley over Pete in that regard. So I don't disagree with that at all. I think they're extremely similar players. I think we've seen extremely similar growth over the last few years in their play disciplines, which has resulted in everything Doc said, the batting averages and so on and so forth. So I love the comp there. I think it's a very fair comp. I think Alonso just might have a little more raw power in the end. But you're grasping at straws because how can you? Maybe it's 5 or 6 homers. That's great. But when you look at positions, maybe you go get a Tellez, go get a 30+ home run Rizzo later or something, and you'll be just fine. So I like that comp quite a bit.
Yeah, I'll quickly say I love Pete Alonso. He is the most home runs since 2019 in all of baseball with 146. Steamer has him projected for the second most home runs in baseball next year behind Aaron Judge. He also was one of the only few players that basically the amount of home runs have been going down every single year. And he's someone that's actually been consistently be able to give you a ton of power. And he's had decent batting averages, a 260 batting average or more in 3 of the last 4 seasons. And his barrels per plate appearance is double that of the major league average here. So I think so many great things in Alonso's profile. I still have to take him over Austin Riley, even with the positional advantage for Riley. Sounds like Bubba is team Pete. Uncle Ted Talks is team Riley. You have LC's team Riley. Doc, what are you?
I'm team Alonso. Me and you, David.
And Bubba's team Pete too.
It's cool. Doc doesn't want to acknowledge things. It's cool.
I'm sorry. You complimented Riley too much.
Don't worry, guys. I won't give my opinion on it. It's fine.
I was going to you next, Marty.
Okay. It's the polar bear. I mean, look at that best nickname in baseball.
Big Meat Pete. Big Meat Pete.
Polar bear. Polar bear Pete. Yeah. Ted is on his game right now.
He's on it right now.
But yeah, no, I think I get the argument for Austin Riley. What we do need to have is an actual argument because Bubba is fading Jose Miranda, and Jose Miranda is my guy in this range.
You homer.
I was literally on your show talking about how much I love him, which just tells me you ignored it the entire time.
No, I did not ignore anything. Well, I'll let you give your spiel, and then I'll give my rebuttal. So do your thing. This is why I love this show. Off the rails. We haven't even finished the first segment. This is great.
So if you want to hear the argument in the original context, you can go listen to Bench with Bubba. He's punching about a bunch of position or team previews out there every day, right? It's like every day a new.
Pretty much, yeah. I do a bunch at once and I slowly spit them out. Yeah.
So let's talk about Jose Miranda, who in the third base episode, he was also in the first base episode. A 251 batting average in the first half, 280 batting average in the second half. In June and July, hit over 300. After May, had never had a season or never had a month below a 259 batting average. Had 30 home run power his last season in the minor leagues. And according to Steamer, he is projected for a 269 batting average with 20 home runs, which actually have him tied for third among the best batting average among third basemen with 20 or more home runs projected by Steamer, tied with Nolan Arenado. He's going to be the best Twins hitter this year. And I've given this stat numerous times, and I always give credit because the Welsh is the one that found this stat, and I've been using it ever since he pointed it out. Jose Miranda last year in 0-2 counts was a 241 hitter. Mookie Betts hit 198 in 0-2 counts last year. In the same token, Mookie Betts also 311 in a 1-0 count, 218 in an 0-1 count. Jose Miranda 313 in an 0-1 count. And I'm sorry, 313 in a 1-0 count, 242 in an 0-1 count. Under 20% strikeout rate in his rookie season. I mean, find me the holes. Like, this guy is a absolute baller. And he's the 10th third baseman off the board that has multi-position at flexibility. Like, it's not like his draft price to me is too rich. At this point right now, he's going as the 10th third baseman off the board. The exact ADP is right at 144. I think that's a pretty fair price. I think he will be the best Twins hitter by the end of the season. That's my bold take. And Bubba, I would love to see the rebuttal on him here.
A couple things. Best Twins hitter doesn't leave a big, endorsement. So we got that going for us. Second, I thought it was really cute, by the way, that you picked the Steamer projection because it was the highest. And we just got done saying the Bad X is what we want to use, which is 253.
Oh, you just trashed it. Is that
home runs? So I'm just saying we got that angle going for us too. I like Jose Miranda as a pure hitter, as a power bat at the position. Not a fan. If he proves me wrong, great. But when you still have an 11.3 home run to fly ball percentage, but you only have 15 home runs, maybe the ballpark's the problem. Maybe it's the fact he's a heavier ground ball than fly ball guy. I don't know. He is young, so there's definitely chances for that to change. But there's a reason why. Can you tell me your stat of hitting 241 on an 0-2 count? How many home runs he hit there? Because it sounds like he's in an 0-2 count a lot. So just going with that angle as well. I don't know. I think Miranda's a good ball player, but when you make me pick one of the top 10 third basemen to say I don't want to draft, it's probably going to be closer to the 10th third baseman on the list, and that's going to be Jose Miranda, who I guess at the position, if I want a stat line like that, I'll go get Dansby Swanson, or I'll go get another middle infielder later on and go that route, or I can find an outfielder with that stat line 100 picks later. So that's kind of where I'm angling that one.
Now, if you had to predict today, how many home runs do you think Jose Miranda has in 2023?
If I'm being nice, go
Let's
21.
nice.
I'll go 21.
That's your nice projection for him?
Yeah. That's an increase of 6 home runs. That's really nice. That's called improvement. He's not a 30 home run hitter right now. He's not.
He's Yuli Gurriel.
Ooh,
oh, you bite your
insulting.
You bite your tongue, LC.
He needs to either improve the batting average or improve the home runs. One or the other. I don't see him doing both. Let's put it that way.
Okay, Uncle Ted has 33. That might even be more ambitious than I have it.
The way Uncle Ted's typing, I think he's been drinking, so 33 is a little nuts.
So
Ted.
Let's put the over under at 25.
Under.
I'll say over.
I'll put a
25
board
or
bet
more.
to whatever you want on it. I'll buy first round of drinks and FPAS on the under 25.
Okay, we're gonna do this bet for F. I was gonna say we could have a couple bets tonight.
I can do as many bets for FPAS as you want because I'll be there. You guys got to show up.
You know I'm gonna be there.
I know. I'm just saying.
All right, so this bet will be who buys first round of drinks at FPAS.
Sure.
Okay.
I got the under.
I got the over.
Okay.
I just won't tolerate this Yuli Gurriel slander. He had one bad year at 38, and you guys he was undervalued for years.
He's average. Like that's an insult.
Don't bring age into this, please, you young people. Like, stop that already. That's not nice. You had me on tonight. You had Erickson on last week. You guys watch your tongues, okay?
Doxing ages. It's every episode.
I can tell.
But yeah, Jose Miranda.
I'm
now we got
defending
definitely.
Nolan, by the way,
I know.
We'll have to do a gambling thing like on his future and add a little more spice to it too.
I'm down. I like Miranda, but when you're making me pick one of the top 10 players, I'm going to probably pick the 10. That's just the brass tacks of it.
Well, let's go then to the next range of players here, we're still in the top 10, but we're kind of Bubba kicked it off with the players we're avoiding inside the top 10 with his Jose Miranda call. So let's go to you, Marty, first. And you're not touching the guy that goes right before him in Max Muncy, even though it sounds like he'll have everyday playing time for the Dodgers. What has you scared about drafting him as the number 9 third baseman?
Yes, and I'm going to be honest with our listeners because that's what I do. I'm all about honesty here.
Honest Marty.
The more research I did on Muncy, the more I actually started to come around. And I'm actually, you know what? It's actually not that bad of a pick. So this goes for, I actually wrote this down. This is a lesson to be learned from our listeners. Even if you are, quote, out on a player, it is still necessary, maybe even more necessary, to do your research and homework on them. Don't just skip over it and see and actually do some homework and see why you don't like that person. Because the thing what I don't like, right? 32 years old. He's getting a little bit older. He's having trouble staying healthy. His XBA was one of the worst in the league last year at 208. Mm-hmm. His strikeout percentage was 5% higher than it's been in a couple of years at 25%. But he had the highest BABIP he's ever had, the lowest BABIP he's ever had. And the BATX projections has him for 26 homers, 76 runs, 75 RBIs, and batting .234. And he has second base and third base eligibility. So I don't mean to turn this into a like, but
you just did.
I kind of did. Still, Bregman is the fall off. I would rather, if Muncy is my middle infielder or my corner infielder, that's perfectly fine. I still stick with that, but I don't hate him as much as I originally thought. So do your research, kids.
All right. Well, no fade here, but a lesson for our listeners, which I guess you could say is just as good. We need the more you know sound effect.
There we go.
I'm a big Muncy fan, so I'm with you.
So Doc, it's actually, Ted gives us a perfect segue to your player because he says he's not touching Devers. And it sounds like you are in agreement with him with the newly signed Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox here.
And I was a Devers fan last year, put a long shot on him to win the AL MVP at plus 1,000. And he's a great player, so I don't want to take anything away from him. But the rest of the team sucks. Can we just get that out there?
Eric Cross will be in your DMs.
I look at who's hitting in front of him. Yoshida, who hasn't played a game in Major League Baseball, and Kike Hernandez, who had a 291 OBP last year. So probably won't have a lot of people on base for him. And then behind him is Justin Turner and Alex Verdugo, who aren't exactly power hitters themselves. So I don't see a lot of counting stats coming from protection either behind him or people setting in front of him. And I know he got hurt in the second half, but we really saw a drop off in his production. He hit 249, 5 homers, 33 RBIs in 55 games. And there's just going to be little stolen base upside there. He's going at pick 20. I'm just not a fan of taking players in a bad offense that high. I'd rather take Mike Trout in that range, Garrett Cole. If you want to catch a catcher early, JT Realmuto.
Toby perked up.
Sandy, Nolan Arenado. And we talked about there's value at Bregman in the 7th third baseman. I don't think you need to take Devers as the third baseman.
How far would he have to fall for you, Doc, before you would take him?
Probably double his ADP.
Double his ADP. Okay.
Wow.
So you'd have to find him at the 40th pick. Okay. Fair enough. So you would have him that as far as ADP goes, then he would just be one more third baseman down for you.
And once again, it's not a slight at Devers. It's just the fact that the Red Sox have done an awful job building a team around him.
Yeah, that's fair enough there. Right now his max ADP is pick 28. So he's definitely not falling anywhere close to that 40th pick where you take him. So you're definitely out on him this year. LC, close up shop here. You could go Gunnar Henderson, who I know you wanted to go, or if you want to go somewhere else, but Gunnar Henderson is definitely an interesting topic considering he's a rookie, and taking a rookie as the 8th third baseman worked last year with Bobby Witt. But will it work again with Gunnar Henderson? Oh, where'd you get that?
I got it this week just for this show.
Did you really? That's commitment. Look at
that. I mean, yeah, this took 2 months to get here.
It just happened to show up this week. And
when I saw LC had him on his dislike, I was like, I can't wait to break this out.
Hopefully it's not like your Rui Hachimura jersey and it's irrelevant.
I already took the price tag off this one.
To me, Gunnar is there. To me, when you look at the position of where he's being drafted, I think he's being overdrafted for what we can expect of him. I think it's he's not Bobby Witt. He doesn't have the stolen base upside that Witt had. Like last year, you were looking at Witt as a potential 30-30 rookie. He didn't get there. He got 20-30 though. So big win there. I don't think Henderson has that kind of upside this first year. I think there's going to be some trouble coming in. The projections have him way down. My projections have him as not way down, as like the 11th or 12th third baseman, and he's going as the 9th. I also wanted to mention going for Bregman as the 7th in the middle of that ocean of no third baseman. I think that is kind of risky because he's the only one there, and you might have to jump him after Arenado goes because there's no one until Henderson. So I think like saying, I'll wait until pick 80 to get Bregman. You might have to go after him in the 50s to make sure you get him if you really like him. That's one thing I wanted to say as well. Henderson, I wasn't because I did think that I was like someone else is going to go with Henderson. I'm off of him just because his price is too high for what I expect from him, and I'm trying to be more in on young players because I know that like if you make some good bets on young players, it makes a big difference in your team in the end of the season. And I have been too conservative with them. Henderson is not someone who I can change that conservativeness with him. I don't see him putting in that potential top 50 season this year.
Well, I remember listening to Rates and Barrels, and I remember DVR talking about that he wouldn't be surprised if Gunnar Henderson's ADP rose up even more if he does really well at WBC and before the season starts, that, we could see a bigger rise from him, just like we saw with Bobby Witt going from outside the top 100 to being a top 5 round pick. The BatX does project him for 15 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 71 runs, and 61 RBIs. LC, is that too lofty a projection for you? Does that sound right in line with what you'd expect?
I don't think that's too lofty. I just don't think that's very good. That's not a top 100 player.
Nope.
And it's not close to a top 100 player.
Nope. Miranda will be better than Henderson.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll take the Miranda love. I don't know. I mean, the Orioles lineup is definitely getting better, and Gunnar Henderson is a lot of talent. He was a top 3 consensus prospect across many different prospect forums, wherever you look, the different prospect sites. And he's going to be hitting a top of this lineup probably sooner rather than later. So he'll be able to accumulate a lot of counting stats. I'm not going to sit here and defend Gunnar Henderson and say that I'm going out of my way to draft him, but I definitely see the upside in taking him. And I'm definitely not, he's not a fade for me. I do think that many of these teams with the rookie incentive, where if they win rookie of the year and you get the draft pick too, there's all the incentive to play these guys. So he'll have plenty of chances to be able to accumulate stats with the extra playing time this year. I don't think I don't think you can fully fade him with just what we've seen from impact rookies of the last couple seasons at the top of the food chain here. So just keep an eye on Gunnar Henderson, just to see where his ADP goes. I'm sure it will change a little bit more as we get closer to drafts in March. So just keep an eye on that. Let's go to the next range here, though, as we get to the juicy range, the 11 to 20. And Bubba, this is the player in this range that you are trying to draft the most of. And it is a player that I was actually considering talking about as well. All he does is just produce stats, even if you're going to poop on his name, in Justin Turner.
Yeah, this is one where ideally, like we kind of talked about, you want one of the early third basemen, but it's like, okay, if you kind of get stuck, I was looking at the next 10 and I could kind of make arguments for a few guys, but I'm sitting there going, if I'm waiting, I'm just going to wait and get a guy that I'm a lot, more comfortable with his overall production. And that's Justin Turner. Got ADPs around 236 the last couple of weeks. The one caveat people will mention is, injuries, but I think what's going to be really, really good about him going to Boston is in LA, he played a lot of third base, and he DH from time to time, but they use that DH like a revolving door, where he's like the third base or the DH in Boston because they just re-signed Rafael Devers, and that could do wonders if you want to be an ages stock. That he's 38 this year and will be very, very good. 15 to 20 home runs. There's only a couple seasons ago he had back-to-back 27 home run seasons. Always hits for average, which is really, really good. He'll be able to drive in Rafael Devers all the time because Devers will be on base in front of him. And I think it's just got the upside of 140 plus games from Justin Turner, which we've seen in his career. If he can play even 130 plus, it's tremendous. You give him 140 to 150, and we are definitely getting 25 plus home runs, and he might get you a combined 170 to 180 runs and RBIs. So I'm a big fan of what he could produce. It's a big if, but at that ADP, I'm willing to take that chance at that point in time. And I like Justin Turner.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, again, where you're getting him at the 20th third baseman off the board. Or actually, I'm sorry, the 22nd third baseman off the board, pick 240. He's just an absolute value. He's going to get a lot of playing time in Boston. He's going to get a chance to hit an important spot of the lineup. And again, you're looking for accumulators. Sometimes he's going to do that. He's hits for a decent average. The power's definitely gone down. Only 13 home runs last season, but a very respectable 278 batting average. And I would just be shocked.
Better ballpark too this year for him.
Yep.
He hasn't hit below 280 since 2013. I'm sorry. He hasn't hit below, 270 since 2012. So, I mean, you're going to get batting average and you're going to get consistent playing time. He has had 80 plus RBIs in back-to-back seasons. If you want to say that he's getting older and the production's not there, definitely not the case last year. So, or the last 2 years. So I think he's a tremendous value where he's going. And if he doesn't work out, he's the 22nd third baseman off the board going after pick 200. So it's not like you invest a ton into him. So I
don't hate it for the ADP, but basically his entire relevancy of his career has been with the Dodgers, who've had a top 3 batting lineup at worst, and now goes to arguably a bottom 5. Like, yes, he is great.
Oh, that's stats. Rough. That's rough. Bottom 5, they're not that bad.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a
bottom 5. Bottom 5 hitting lineup.
Well, how about just this is the doc narrative, because
is
sometimes
there a non-hitting lineup by chance?
I don't think lineup context is that important.
This is the doc narrative. Justin Turner with the red beard with the Red Sox. Just tell me there's not magic there.
Oh, that is glorious.
Just telling you, it just seems too good.
He's just mad. He's just mad Turner's not in Baltimore because that orange beard would go with the uniform so well.
I have a little bit of bias against Justin Turner. I used to call his wife because she ran a foundation at my old job and they were a client, and she never returned any of my calls. So I have Justin Turner's wife's phone
That's why
number
you don't
somewhere.
like him.
It's all coming clear. It's always a woman. Remember that, guys. It's always a woman that doesn't call
Courtney
you
Turner,
back.
why didn't you return
Always
my calls?
that. It's always that. To the day. They either ghosted you via text or it's a phone call. Like, they say follow the money. When it comes to the spite game with the man, it's the girl never got back to him.
We're learning so much baseball and so many life lessons on this episode. Just absolutely love it. Only with Bubba on, though. That is always the case. But yeah, I think we're on the same page there, Bubba. Doc, you can just miss out on Justin Turner, and that's fine. More for us. But we will go back to you, Doc, because you can talk about somebody in this range you do like. And who would that be?
I like Alec Bohm, and maybe it's not a sexy pick. He's the ADP 175, the 14th ranked third baseman. I just see him progressing as a baseball player. He's entering his third full season, fourth major league season. His average in his 2 full years up from 247 to 280, cut the K rate down from 26.6 to 17.4. The slugging went up to 342 to 398. The stolen base attempts have gone from 2 to 4 to 5. So he's being a little bit more aggressive on the base pass. And of course, what we're going to see is hopefully an increase for a lot of players this year. He's relatively young. And look, he's a guy who'll probably hit you 270, 280, 15 to 20 homers. They did add Trey Turner to that lineup. He was the 3rd overall pick. So I do believe in prospect pedigree to a certain point. Once again, not sexy, but I kind of like where he's headed.
Very much, even more improved Phillies lineup. And he really came on last year. I'm just looking at his splits. And if you look, pretty much he in July hit 434, August 270, September 253, and was hitting a lot more home runs toward the end of the season, hit 332 after kind of struggling, only hitting 4 in the first 3 months. I would like to see more power there. Hopefully he found a little bit more of his power stroke, as it really seems like that was part missing of his game last year. But there's a lot to like in his profile, and he'll be in a lineup to produce a lot of RBIs. 280 batting average is also very sexy too. So
I would love to see his splits where it says after he said, "I hate this place." I feel like the second after he said that he hated working or he hated playing there, that's when his stats went through the roof.
They did. That's the funny part. He got,
and which made me love him even more.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. Alec Bohm, somebody that I think many people might forget about, but again, he's playing for the World Series finalists in the National League for the Phillies. So they will be in contention for a lot of games, and a very good lineup now with Trey Turner at the top. So very much interested to see what he does. LC, your player that you want to talk about in this range is somebody that I have to say, I feel like we're all frustrated because he's shown promise and then he disappoints, and he just keeps doing that to us every season. Why is this the year that Ryan McMahon finally does something for us?
You got to change your lens, guys. Sometimes you look at something from one way, it's disappointing. If you look from a different way, you're like, oh, that ain't so bad. I'm going to tell you guys, we all have McMahon fatigue, but I'm going to use a line that my boy KC Bubba loves. The man is a steady Eddie. That's right. The man is a steady Eddie. Over the last 3 seasons, you've gotten 250, between 20 and 24 home runs, between 135 and 165 runs plus RBIs, and 5 to 7 steals. Last year, his disappointing season was the 15th third baseman. I got him as a top 10 third baseman this year because you're not getting 20 home runs and 150 runs plus RBIs at pick 220 by any other third baseman. Not even close. Jose Miranda would kill for those nuts.
Why are you going to do that?
Because it's just in me right now. Jose Miranda would kill for those stats. He wants to get that season, and you're getting my boy 80 picks later right now. So I think the steady Eddie, Ryan McMahon, the narrative is the hate has gone too far. He is so steady. That offense, that Park's going to give you that volume that you've wanted from him, and he plays every day. Also, it has to be said, he gets you those chip-in steals. And as a third baseman, getting 5 to 7 steals is plus value. That is plus value for sure. The average third baseman gets about 3 if you're talking about it. So he's he's almost twice the average third baseman in steals too. So like he is a plus contributor in all 5 fantasy categories at third base. And he's going to pick 222. He's a starting third baseman right now. He's a starting third baseman. That's why I like him.
Is he going to be one of your MySpace top 8 guys?
I cannot do that. No.
Oh,
No.
all this love and you're not. I mean,
Come on, Art.
You
No,
talked about
Nobody
him.
where your mouth is.
Yeah, you
No,
talked about
it's
him
not
like
that.
he's in your top
It's
8.
that the
Must be top
MySpace
9.
top 8. The MySpace top 8 is the guys I want to be associated with this
And
year.
you don't want to do that
I
with Ryan
don't
McMahon.
want.
He
everyone to
likes
be-
McMahon. He doesn't love McMahon. There's a big difference, gentlemen.
I don't. Yeah. I
With
don't
that
wanna be
spiel,
like-
you definitely fooled me.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. I think he's a fantastic acquisition price for him.
100%.
I think you're getting that great value. The reason is
Here he
because
is again. You're a politician.
the reason I'm not going to put him in my top 8 is because I don't want the stigma of being the Ryan McMahon guy.
You're
okay?
already becoming.
I don't
It's
want to
not
be the
fun.
Ryan
It's
McMahon.
not fun, dude. It's not fun.
Were you that last year, or Bubba, or the?
I've pounded the Ryan McMahon drum for a couple years, and at least his ADP kind of makes more sense now than it has in years past, which I like a lot. And to go to Cheesecake's Steady Eddie comment, I say I like players like that because if you do say you want to take a chance on a Gunnar Henderson or a young player or something, you need the Steady Eddie pieces elsewhere, and that's the key. Is like, so again, it comes down to like how you want to build out your roster. So if you do take some chances, then a Steady Eddie like McMahon makes a lot more sense type thing.
It's crazy he doesn't even have him in his top 8. He could have him as number 8, but like,
Yeah.
You know what the real question is? The real question: are you 3 in his top 8? That's the one. Discuss.
That's interesting. I
Doc
feel
is
like
not.
I'm definitely not.
Betty and Betsy, whatever you're talking about, these two are going to be. Those are 2 of them, and whoever else is the other. 6,
Marty's got to be like number 4 or 5. Joe's number 1. Art's
Joe's
twin
in
is
there.
first.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe one day for like a Patreon or something, you could say who your top 8 are,
That sounds good. That sounds like the right forum for that
Yeah.
conversation.
Yes.
or your OnlyFans.
I was like OnlyFans is where I was
Your
going with
OnlyFans
that.
that nobody knows about.
It's when he turns the baseball hat around the other direction.
Ah, oh
You
my
know, all
God.
the stitches.
Did you ever see the Doctor Doom episode, Bubba?
No.
Oh, his alter ego, Doctor Doom.
Oh, now I got.
He's got a mask and
That was
everything.
incredible.
I listened to him. I just don't watch them all. So I got to check this out now.
I forgot which episode it was, but the whole time he had the Doctor Doom mask.
It was
on.
Halloween. It was on Halloween or something.
that's
like
what it
that.
was.
I put on a mask. Yeah.
He was the Doom Doctor.
Ted, you're beating me. Miguel Vargas is one of the guys I'm going to bring up in our next group of guys. All right, Marty. I don't think we got yours. You're the last one to go in this tier. Talk about Josh Rojas for us.
Josh Rojas. So second base, third base eligibility for the Diamondbacks. ADP 208.74. He is the 16th third baseman off the board. Bad X projections have him for 509 plate appearances, batting 252, 9 home runs, 61 runs, 47 RBI, and 14 stolen bases. So this is why I like him. Roster Resource has him batting 5th in a much improved Diamondbacks lineup. I could see him hitting 10 home runs, 11 home runs, getting you 10, 15 steals. He has a solid floor as far as his average goes and where he's going. I mean, it's an incredible value. It's possible at the end of the year that his stats don't look too much different than Gunnar Henderson. And he's going like 100 and something picks later.
That's a spicy
Thoughts,
take.
comments, concerns, suggestions.
Spicy. I like it. I like it.
Are we doing our second FPAS bet? Because I don't know if I could see that.
Well, that would be his ceiling, right? I think his ceiling would be what Gunnar Henderson can get you on his not floor, but kind of like his average.
So do you want to call him the Walmart Gunnar Henderson?
He's a Kmart red light special.
Or the Kmart? we could call him that. We do a bunch of nicknames on this show, so he'll be the Kmart Gunnar Henderson.
I was thinking about for Jose Miranda. No way, Jose Miranda. That's what it sounds like for this year.
I love it.
I don't know if I like
Alex
that one.
Standing dad joke 101 right there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, Marty.
I don't know if I
I'll
can
be
get
here all
behind that
week.
one.
But yeah, Josh Rojas. I mean, good value. 10 stolen bases, 10 home runs. Where he's going, that's pretty good.
All right. Well, we'll see what Josh Rojas can do for us this year. Let's go to the dislikes in this range. Going back to Bubba here. And you are not high on one of the top rookies potentially in the game this season. Is it a playing time concern? Is it him getting acclimated to the big leagues? What do you have against Jordan Walker here?
Yeah, it's just a picky like playing time thing for me. If I'm drafting right now, like, does he even have a job? Like, there's a lot of questions involved there. If he does have a job, is it a full-time job? There's just way too many what ifs at this point in time for me to draft him. The talent's great. I'm not going to discount that. We saw it in Arizona, and he was, Saracchi said he has one of the best butts he's seen in FPAS in years. But I think I got to see more and actually see playing time. So you look at that St. Louis roster, and I know they're saying they want to get him, chances to play, but trying to find the place for him to actually play is hard. From like Arenado's obviously playing, Goldie's playing first base, so they're trying to work Walker out in the outfield. So does Newt Bar or is it O'Neill or like who loses the playing time there? And that's where I'm concerned. So I could see him starting in the minors even, and then you don't see him till later in the year. And I can't take a pick like this on Jordan Walker, so I'm out on the youngster.
I know they were talking about moving him to the outfield because Nolan Arenado's entrenched at third base, but I don't think they're sold on Dylan Carlson.
Yeah, they hate Carlson. It feels like it's getting there.
And I feel like he was the untouchable piece in the Juan Soto trade. So I part of me feels like maybe it's not right from the get-go, but I could see within the first month him being a regular. Again, he's not a player I'm not sitting here pounding the drum for as like I'm taking him in every draft or anything like that, but he's one of those upside third baseman picks here going after pick 200 that he could be, best case scenario, he could be like the 10th third baseman this season if he gets a lot of playing time with the potential he has. I don't think it's bad to take a couple shots on him.
Yeah. He's not steady Eddie, I'll tell you that much.
A lot of disagreement between Bubba and David today. Interesting.
Well, yeah, because once you come out swinging against Jose Miranda, we got the fighting.
And it's funny, David hates the Twins, but just loves Jose Miranda.
He's like the one thing him and Johan Duran are the two things I like on that team.
Like in real life baseball, I love the hitter that Miranda is. He needs to prove to me he's the power guy everyone says he is. That's the difference. Like I believe he's a great hitter. I just don't know if he's the power bat to be a top 10 third baseman just yet.
What were his 30 home runs in his last year in the minor leagues?
Are you talking minor league baseball right now?
I mean, the 30 home runs is 30 home runs.
Have you seen the ball fly out of AAA? Have you seen that? Like, come on, man. We're talking about minor leagues here.
I mean,
not the majors, not the majors.
It's like practice.
What about if they throw those balls back in when they need more home runs in baseball this year? I mean, they change the ball all the time.
He's not getting the Aaron Judge ball in Minnesota. They don't care about Minnesota that much. Come on.
Oh man, this is gonna be a fun bet this year. That's gonna be a really fun thing to watch.
It's at BDintric on Twitter. Just remind me every time he goes deep. I'll get about 14 messages.
We gotta do like how Toby has his little grab. We're gonna have to find one for him.
Yep,
and then every time I'm gonna send you one.
Bubba, if Jose Miranda homers, is it a dong? Like, are you gonna tweet it out or no?
Oh yeah, it's a dong. I'll make sure all caps dong with exclamation marks. You got it.
Okay.
Miranda dong.
I love it.
And I'll hop in real quick. I'm out on Walker as well for the same reasons. I mean, he's not even on the 40-man roster. So let's
there's
say
another great point.
Yeah. So let's say you do draft him, you're gonna burn a hole in your in your lineup or in your bench for at least a month, probably 2-3 months. He comes back, maybe he's playing 3-4 days a week in the outfield. I just don't see a reason to do that when the vets are there, like Justin Turner, who we've touched on, DJ LeMahieu's going to be there. At least they're going to be playing every day, or you can go a little bit earlier than that. Rojas, Josh Young, Luis Urias. There's just no reason to take that pick. I think we all just like prospects, and we all just want to be, the guy who took them, when no one else was doing it. And I think that's not what wins you these 15-team leagues. That's what, it just won't.
Now, we have an exciting sponsor that we're not going to announce yet. Hopefully by next week we will. A little tease. In those types of drafts, would you take some of Jordan Walker just to have some exposure to him?
No. There's just no reason to. Because let's say he's definitely not going to be playing third base. They already have a set outfield. Maybe Lars gets hurt. Tyler O'Neill gets hurt because he can often. So that's a possibility. But like we're waiting for something. Like there's no reason to do that. If he was like the 30th third baseman, why not? You might as well. But top 20, no.
Marty, I better not see you drafting any Jordan Walker around these parts. Otherwise, I'm going to flag you so hard.
Yeah, when you make that big of a case, you can't draft him at any ADP.
It just doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. Well, more Jordan Walker for me then.
Put
That's
this
fine.
in the time.
Yeah,
code
with
of
his 9 home runs that Bad
49.25.
X projects him for. 9 home runs, 6 stolen bases. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
That's a projection.
Sure aren't talking minor leagues. I'll tell you that much.
He's a great minor league player.
I'll
Yeah,
take
give
the
him
minor
that.
leagues over projections. At least the minor leagues happened.
I'm gonna do a minor league baseball and draft him
Oh,
first
no,
overall.
Walker can smash. Thank you, Ted. Huge slugging upside. Ted is
That's
on
true.
my side tonight.
Yeah, I
I
just
think minor
smashed
league
a high
baseball.
noon. Does that get me drafted in the top 20, or how's that going to go?
Tell you what, once you're eligible, I'll draft you with my first pick.
Hey,
Oh, that's
Spencer
love,
Torkelson
brother.
was
That's
great
love.
in AA and AAA, but you know what I mean? So we don't even know. We're just
That's
assuming he's going to be a great Major League Baseball player. We don't know.
Elsie, we talk about power. There's few that have the power that Eugenio Suarez has, but not much else. Is that the reason you're fading him?
Yeah, I think I look at Eugenio Suarez's ADP of 140. I got him at 140, 150. And right behind him is Matt Chapman, 155. I think I prefer Chapman over Suarez. I think their profiles are similar. I think Chapman is in a better offense. I think Chapman hits for a better batting average as well. So I think that Suarez's power profile and Chapman's power profile are more similar than we when you look into it. Their power profile is very similar. Chapman actually has him in max EV. Their launch angle is very similar, and also Toronto's fences are going to be easier to hit home runs for now. So I look at them and you know, Suarez's batting average is miserable. His expected batting average the last 3 seasons, full seasons, are 216, 215, and 220. So his projections have him at 215 right along with his XBA. He's hit 202, 198, and 236. You see he's gone under, and way over, and over his XBA. Chapman's been pretty steady, 220, 230 XBA, and hit 220, 230 the last 3 seasons, except for in 21. But when I compare those two and I start to look, like trying to pick between these guys, it's like Chapman I have, you know, above Suarez, and Suarez is going above Chapman. And my argument here is, if you're looking for late, this is kind of late power for third baseman at pick 150, because as I was saying earlier, there's not much behind there. And if I'm going late power, it's Chapman, because of the offense, because his batting average is, I think, going to be 15, 20 points better than Suarez. And I think he's going to produce more counting stats.
I want to add one more thing to that, because he was in my MySpace top 8 last year, and he probably will be as well. Chapman, he has played in over 85% of all games over the last 3-4 years. The guy plays.
Yep.
Eugenio Suarez, he's a little bit older. I don't know.
Strikes out a ton too, and
Is
with
it
a
my
team.
turn to poo-poo on him? Because that's my
You always
favorite.
poo-poo on Chapman. And he still
Was
did,
that-
you thought he was going to do terrible
Wait,
last
was
year. And he did really
Suarez.
well.
Yeah, no,
Suarez.
Doc also didn't like Suarez, so you can add to it. Go ahead.
Jeez, Marty. Yeah, his K percentage went up for the 5th straight year. It was at 31.2% last year, which was a career high for him. David, you brought up a really good point, and I want to give you credit for this. His whiff percentage on fastballs went up from 21.2 to 26.8%. So that's a huge jump. And if you're not being able to hit the fastball, especially as you get over 30 years old, that worries me a little bit. He's going to be awful in points leagues and awful in roto leagues from the perspective that he hasn't stolen a base in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle is becoming a big contender in the American League, and if you're not producing, they have a lot of guys on that team.
They
that
also
can
just
step in.
re-signed Dylan Moore to a 3-year extension like 20 minutes ago.
Did they really? Oh, breaking
Yeah.
news from Doc. The strikeout rate definitely make it where if he's not hitting for power, that he's not going to be in the lineup. So that playing time can become a question for him as much as anybody on this team right now. So he's a risk, but I think you're taking Suarez only if you're chasing power at that point in the draft. That's, I think, the only way you're considering him outside. But again, you're taking him at 152nd, and there's so many third basemen after him that I feel like are more appealing outside just the power aspect. So I don't disagree with your guys wanting to fade him just based on that price, which is pretty expensive. Let's get to the last segment, which is going to be the players going outside the top 20 that you want to take your shot on. Like if the girl at the bar, you take your shot. And let's go to Bubba's guy first, which I believe
I
is
don't know if that's the
Josh
analogy we wanted
Donaldson.
to make for this guy.
Yeah, this is taking your shot. This is the last girl at the bar at this point with Josh Donaldson, the way he's played.
You might need a lot of drinks to take this guy too.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I've really tried to bite my tongue on this one. Yeah, Josh Donaldson. The biggest reason I have Donaldson here is when you slide down the ADP and you're trying to pick guys, everyone's got warts this far down, and you're picking poisons. And Josh definitely has warts. He's going around pick 385 in ADPs, but the fact he's going 385 really, really has my attention. He had injuries last year, other issues that Josh Donaldson tends to have. The home runs are down to 15. Strikeout rate rose 6%, while his walk rate below 10% for the first time since 2012. Hit 222 with the it's just uncharacteristic of Donaldson. But what I do like, the barrel rate wasn't great, but it's still almost 10%, which is in line with a lot of other seasons. Like 17.4 in 2021 is crazy, but close to 10% is fine. Hard hit rate was down to 43%. There were bugaboos, but he also had like a shoulder injury and something else that would easily curtail into that. And if I can get a guy at pick 336 that is going to likely hit in the middle of the New York Yankees lineup and play every day unless he gets hurt. Right now he's penciled into, like, there's not a lot there unless they start rotating LeMahieu around and other things. But for the most part, he's the dude at third base. I'll take that chance every single time later in a draft. So that's why I like Josh Donaldson. And I think if he gets back to a 20-plus home run guy, you're sitting pretty.
And actually, over the last 2 weeks, his ADP is all the way down to 527.
Ouch.
Going as the 40th third baseman off the board. So he's free. He's free.
Bring it.
Now, the players he's going around, it's interesting. In a vacuum, would you rather have J.D. Davis or Josh Donaldson?
Donaldson has the everyday job. I think David VR is the third baseman in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's it's right in your backyard, so you would definitely know for the Giants. What about on the New York Mets, Brett Beatty, which was brought up in the comments here? Would you rather have the upside of Brett Beatty going as the 42nd third baseman or Josh Donaldson going as the 40th?
I'll take Donaldson again. I like Beatty. No disrespect to Beatty, but let's just be honest. They were going to bring Correa in to play third base. They still have Escobar. Beatty probably starts the year in the minor leagues. He's a part of their future, but I don't know how soon that future is with Brett Beatty.
Yeah, I mean the 40th third baseman being a starter, that alone makes
in that
argument.
offense.
Yeah,
let's go.
All right, let's go to you, Doc, here first. Let's talk about your last player and going in outside the top 20. And this is somebody that, to be honest with you, I feel like he's a little bit of everything, but he doesn't get a lot of shine in Rendon Donovan.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
He's the everyman.
He's a steady Eddie.
Take a shot every time you hear the word steady on this episode.
No. That's why I said. That's why I'm going to start saying Steadward Edward.
Okay,
we're giving the abbreviated version. All right, I'm going to start saying the real.
I like
version
that.
of it. So when you look at 2021, 2022, whether it's across AA, AAA, or MLB, he's had at least a 10% walk rate and less than a 20% K rate. So he's acclimated to new levels each time very well. And look, he's not a huge home run guy. He had 5 in 126 games, but I think 10 is reasonable. He's second base, third base, outfield eligible. I see him being that super utility guy for the Cardinals. That right now roster resource has him batting 5th, right behind Arenado and Goldie. And we've talked about that the Cardinals have a lot of young hitters waiting. I don't think he's someone that's at risk of losing playing time. I think there's a greater chance they move someone like Tommy Edman or Dylan Carlson, and that we do see someone like Jordan Walker come up. But I think he's slated into top 5, top 6 in the batting order and a pretty good offense.
Yeah, his chase rate last year was only 21.4%, one of the best percentages in baseball. Chase contact, meanwhile, being actually 8% above the major league average. Also, just being very, I can't think of the passive when the ball's in the zone. Zone swing only 55.7%, but walking at a 93%, top 93% of baseball. Just seems like a really good on base guy. Maybe he's not gonna, give you a ton of power. 5 home runs in 468 plate appearances. That's not great. Only 2 stolen bases over 468 plate appearances. That's not great. But if you're looking for a guy with a decent average, a pretty good OBP, a guy that's going to get on base, you could do a lot worse than Rendon Donovan, who has multi-position eligibility.
He still gave you 109 runs plus RBIs in 126 games last year. He's an accumulator.
It's not bad. Not bad. Marty Party, your last player going inside this range is going to be somebody that actually was also brought up in the comments from Ted. Ted has been on the game here talking about right before teeing him up for us. Anthony Rendon bounced back, cheap third baseman. You're on that same train.
This is what I'm going to ask from you, David. So I grew up Catholic. So imagine I walk into a confession booth. You are my priest.
Okay.
And I say, please forgive me for I have sinned. It's been about a year since my last confession.
Okay.
My confession is I still believe in Anthony Rendon.
I would call you a sinner. Again.
Fair enough. I can read off his stats. You know, he's had some amazing years and everything
read
like
off
that.
Read off his games played for me.
Yeah, you could combine like 4 seasons to get the whole.
The last 2 years, I will not do that. I won't stoop that low. But the Bad X projections: 565 plate appearances, 254 batting average, 18 bombs, 70 runs, 64 RBI, and we know what he can do if he stays healthy. He's only 32 years old, so I'm not fully ready to give up on him. He's almost free at this point. This is the last ride. I'm buying into him this year.
I forgive you. I think Rendon's an interesting target here. Just he's not going to be healthy all year, but if even he gives you 500 plate appearances, you're going to be happy right here. So
he's a drug. You guys need to quit him.
Yeah, I feel like we went through this with Byron Buxton last year, and we bought in. We were like, oh, this is
Byron
the
Buxton,
year.
you're paying so much for that.
But yeah, I agree.
Rendon,
the price is different, but is the result going to be any different here? Like,
well, that's why you invest in a Bregman. You invest in a corner infielder who's solid as well, like a Josh Rojas maybe. And then he's like maybe your utility guy. Maybe if someone gets hurt, you slot him in. That's how far he's going back.
Like if I buy a broken vase at it's pronounced vase.
Vase.
If I go and buy a broken, whatever you want to call it, at like a nice fine, China shop or something for $50, it's gonna, already broken, mind you. And then I go to Walmart and I also buy a broken vase for like $10. They're both broken vases. One's cheaper than the other, but they're both they're both worthless. That's like your argument.
Is this the old lipstick on a pig? It's still a pig.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what he's the pig with the lipstick on at this point. That's a great analogy. Yeah, I like he's cheaper, but at this point, like how much more do you need to see from even with the cheaper cost to just be like
he's had 2 years where he was hurt and he had 6 where he was not and he was really good. So at where he's going, it's not that bad of an investment. I mean, I can't tell you he's not going to be unhealthy.
He wasn't doing well before he got hurt last year.
Yeah,
he was hurt on and off. I mean, that's just it's hard to stay consistent.
And you got to at least love what the Angels have done with that offense this year. Like they've put together like for once, Trout and Ohtani have a team around them. So,
well, they also have Brandon Drury, which is the hated man on this podcast.
What?
Oh yeah, we were trashing Brandon Drury.
So rude.
He was like for 30 minutes we were doing it.
I'm done. See you guys later.
LC needed to do that on that episode. He was just standing by himself there. But we'll take a break from the Drury hate this one. And LC closes out with Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays as your snag at this range.
Y'all got to get on the Yandy train. Yandy is one of the better hitters in baseball, and I'm going to explain to you why I say that. Real interesting background note. My brother and I are huge sports nerds, huge stats nerds. My brother he was disappointed with the roto category. So he came up with a new category because he feels like roto categories don't actually measure what is good about a baseball player. He came up with his own one. He calls it bags, which is bases added minus grounded in double plays plus 1/2 strikeouts. Bases added is walks plus hit by pitch plus sacrifice flies plus sacrifice hits plus stolen bases. So it's basically every time you add a base without getting a hit. Yandy Diaz is one of the best in baseball at that. Walks plus hit by pitch plus sac fly plus sacrifice hit plus stolen bases minus grounded in double plays plus strikeouts.
This is a lot.
Okay.
Did you guys grow up playing D&D too? Or
yeah,
like go for it.
This is
Dude,
a lot.
We were sports nerds, not fantasy nerds. Okay, we grew up with a baseball encyclopedia.
How the worlds have turned.
Yeah,
Can one of our listeners please comment on this if they actually understood that because I'm
listen.
lost.
I need a whiteboard behind me and
Yeah.
someone to point to things right now.
Okay. Anyways, Yandy is one of the best. All right. The best is Juan Soto's the best in baseball at bases added. Freddie Freeman's great. Yandy Diaz is kind of up there with those types of hitters at that.
Is Jose Miranda up there?
No, he stinks.
Then I don't like
we all know that. So Yandy actually, when it comes to like being an efficient baseball player, the type of player the Rays are going to play a lot. I'll say it that way. Yandy is there, and Yandy has produced. And Yandy last season produced a very good season, and this season I have him going as like a top 20, top 15, top 20 production third baseman, and he's going as the 25th third baseman at ADP of nearly 300. For me, his batting average is his carrying stat. He hit nearly 300 last year. He's projected to hit about 280 this year, which is a very good batting average. His runs plus RBIs are very good for going that late, especially because you're not going to get in those plate appearances that late, and his good lineup spot that late. So for me, when you're looking for someone super late, nearly pick 300 to fit your corner infield, you could do a lot worse than Yandy Diaz, who's going to give you that batting average. He's going to get you those counting stats. Not going to get you a lot of power or speed, but he's going to give you the other three categories.
All right. I like that. Please tweet out that stat or that you guys made.
I'll tweet it out. I should.
Will it fit in one tweet?
That's a good point. Elsie, maybe you have to make one of those like threads, like a new baseball stat for you, a thread, and then it'll be like a novel that we can all
good arts charts with
yeah.
The Yandy train's a good terminology though when he all the ground balls he hits to stay on the ground, so it makes sense.
Y'all seen that It's Always Sunny gif where like Charlie tries to explain the charts?
Oh yeah, and he has all the things everywhere.
Yeah, that's art with this.
That's perfect.
The worst thing is I'm really intrigued to where that goes, but I got like confused 4 different times.
100%.
So yeah, I wanted to be quick in explaining it, so I didn't explain it well, and that was on me.
We should do a Professor Cheesecake video for the YouTube channel. Where you
that would be electric.
And like dress up in like a lab coat or something. Get like a chalkboard behind you and do this.
Please do.
Can we make that happen?
Yes. Do it like.
I do it.
Oh yeah, never mind. I'll stop. Go.
I know where you were going with that, but I'm sure it is a family-friendly program.
That's why I stopped.
But okay, that's a good wrap of the third base guys here. I think we covered a good amount of players here, but we have a bonus game of the week tonight. First time in a long time, just for our guy Bubba. So come and get redemption on the show after Doc took him out last episode. So I know Marty and I are going to be here, but this
what do you mean last episode? It was like the last 2 or 3.
No, that was the first time you beat me. Was last time. I was undefeated before.
That's right.
Time.
That's right. That's right.
I'm 2-1 in my career on triple play. I'm putting my winning record on the line to shut you down. Don't you worry about it.
All right, here we go. LC, what are we playing for the game of the week?
So it's a categories game where I'm gonna list a category, and you guys have to name someone who fits into that category. And if you don't name someone in the category, you're out. So the last one to name someone in the category gets all the points. Okay.
I missed the game show host art.
I like this.
I think Bubba understands. David, obviously my explanation powers are not at a 3rd grade level, but
oh geez.
But
shots fired.
Hey, you mean game show.
I'm 2 beers in. I'm sorry.
I love
it. So I have 4 different categories, and it's going to be round robin, and we're going to switch off who goes first each time, so that so each round is worth 4 points. That way, if everyone doesn't get someone, each person gets 1 point. If there's 2 people in the end, they each get like 3 points. If there's 3 people in, each person gets 2 points. I'm not going to explain anymore. I'll just tell you.
Just tell me when I win.
All right.
Historical.
Some of it, there's one historical one. We'll start with the historical one. Okay. The first historical category. So we're going to start with Bubba here because he's the guest. And then we're going to go David, Marty, Doc. The first category is Yankees in the Hall of Fame. Bubba.
Babe Ruth.
Okay. David.
Mariano Rivera.
Marty.
Mickey Mantle.
Doc.
Lou Gehrig.
Bubba.
Is he Derek Jeter?
David.
That's where I was gonna go. What's his name? Oh my God. Bernie Williams.
No.
You're out. Marty.
Yogi Berra.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Doc.
Jorge Posada.
No,
You're out.
Oh,
Bubba.
he's not in?
No, he's not in.
No.
Not a chance. Reggie Jackson.
Marty.
Come on, Marty. You got to rep. You got to rep for us.
Eventually Aaron Judge. Hey.
Bubba gets 4
Wait,
points.
or was David Cohn in there? No, probably
No,
not.
no, he's
He's
not.
not a Hall of
No, he's
Famer.
not.
All
The
right.
ones that were not mentioned are Dave Winfield,
Mm.
Red Ruffing, Phil Rizzuto.
Nope.
I would have accepted Mike Mussina as a Yankee Hall of Famer.
He's not Matting League in the Hall.
No, he's
No.
not.
Tony Lazzari, Waite Hoyt, Lefty Gomez, Whitey Ford, Joe DiMaggio. No DiMaggio.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Wow.
That's
Bill Dickey and Earl Combs. So Bubba has 4
And Ricky
points.
Henderson would have been an
Henderson.
A's, right? That's
Ricky
an A.
Henderson. Yeah, he didn't spend a lot of his
Yeah.
career with. I said Winfield because he was there for like 9
Yeah,
seasons.
so I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah. Next category, David, you're going to go first from 2022. Top 15 pitchers on Razzball Player Rater.
Ooh.
Start off, David.
I got to go my guy, Dylan Cease.
You're out.
Are you serious?
Oh!
He's not even on it? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
He
no,
was
no.
the-
There's his name. There's his name.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was going to
There's
say,
his
wait a
name.
second. He
My
was
bad. My bad.
runner up for the AL.
I did a quick look and I'm like, there's no Cease there. I guess he's out. Now you're in.
Is that
Sorry.
revenge?
My
Was that
bad.
Cease
revenge
to
for me
exist.
calling?
My
Goodness.
bad.
Look on David's face.
Marty,
Sandy Alcantara.
Doc,
Corbin Burns.
Garrett Cole.
Bubba. Sorry, you are actually out.
Garrett Cole's not in the top 15?
He was 16th.
Oh, are you doing relief
Oh.
pitchers or starting pitchers?
Relief pitchers are in there too. Yes.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
caveats.
David.
That's fine.
Oh,
Gives
man.
Doc a chance.
Arenado.
No, you're out, Marty.
Really?
Class A.
Yep,
If you
you're
got
in.
relievers, you guys can go for a while now.
Yeah.
Doc.
Fromber Valdez.
That was a
Marty.
risky one.
When you have Edwin Diaz on the
Yeah, I was
table,
gonna
you
say
should
Edwin-
hammer Valdez.
Edwin
Really?
Dude, that was
Diaz is a-
mine.
You already won. It's over.
Oh.
Yeah,
Edwin Diaz.
Marty won.
Yeah. That's why I told Doc, I'm like, you had Edwin Diaz on the table. You picked Framber Valdez.
I can see
Well,
why
he had the
though.
quality start streak.
He had the quality start streak. Yeah.
Yeah, but Edwin Diaz was laying.
No
like,
one
on a
said
silver
Justin
platter.
Verlander.
I've heard of him.
Ah,
AL Cy
No one
Young.
said Julio Urias with his wins,
Yeah.
or
I have
Alec
trouble saying his
Manoah,
name. So
or Shohei Ohtani.
I would have thought Aaron Nola would have been ahead of Manoa.
Manoah's got
I-
a sneaky stats.
Yeah.
Yu Darvish, Carlos Rodon, Zach Gallen, Shane
you
McClanahan.
Darvish was there, but not
Darvish.
Fromber Valdez.
Not Garrett
Yeah.
Cole.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
I
kind of
don't. I,
wild.
I looked at. You can look it up.
Oh
I
no,
don't
I'm
know
not.
how-
I'm not
Yeah, I
arguing
believe
with
you.
you.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. I'm just like it's crazy.
I think Cole had a. Yeah, his ERA was bad.
It's
last
those home
year.
runs, the Aaron Judge
Yeah.
balls.
Yu Darvish isn't going to spring training at all. For
No,
the-
he's
I
staying in
heard that.
Japan.
Right.
pretty wild.
Well, it makes
Yeah.
sense for him because all the Japan WBC games are in Japan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where like the other guys are coming to like Arizona and Florida because all the games are there. So that makes sense at least not to travel, but it's still kind of shady. But yeah.
All right, Doc and I gotta get on
Um,
the board here.
Bubba and Marty are at 4 points apiece. Next category: top 15 projected RBIs on Bat X. Marty, you go first.
Hmm.
Aaron Judge.
Doc
Pete Alonso.
and
Mike
Bubba.
Trout.
David.
Jordan Alvarez.
You guys got 4 of the top 5 already. Marty.
Jose Ramirez.
Doc.
Vlad Jr.
That's the top 5. Bubba.
Wow, you guys are killing it here. This is ridiculous. This isn't fair. I gotta think.
Don't take mine, please.
No, that's why it's getting tricky now. You said Jordan already. Shohei.
Boom. David.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman.
That's a good one.
Marty.
Devers.
Ooh,
Doc.
Oh, we're still going. Holy crap.
Austin Riley.
Bubba.
Holy crap.
We're still going. We only got 5 names left.
Oh.
Going through teams in my head right now.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
No.
Oh.
You're out. David.
We already said Aaron Judge, right?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
the first
Yeah.
one.
Okay, that's what I thought. Then I will go with Jose Abreu.
No,
You're
see
out
ya.
too, David.
Yeah.
Marty. Can you
Nolan Arenado.
Doc, can you steal it?
He's got to get it. Or we all.
Wait, I know I won. I was the last
No, you
one.
got to get one,
You gotta
son.
get it. You gotta get it. You're the-
Juan Soto.
No
No.
way.
No.
So what happened?
What about Goldschmidt? Was he one?
Goldschmidt?
Damn,
No!
I was
Yeah.
gonna
Guys,
pick.
What about Eli?
Schwarber,
Wait.
Schwarber, Machado, Goldschmidt, Olsen, and Kyle Tucker were the ones.
So we all get 1 point, right?
1 point. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the score update going into the final round then?
5 for Bubba, 1 for David, 5 for Marty, 1 for Doc.
All right.
Damn.
Doc, you
I
can
had
time me.
it was between Soto and Goldie, damn it.
Mine was
So-
Goldie and whatever I picked. So yeah, that sucked.
So you said Tatis, which
Yeah.
I think was
Yeah.
the last category. There's 30 names in this category. So
Yeah, let's dance.
and
All right.
projected leadoff hitters on roster resource.
Oh, awesome.
Doc
This is
starts
gonna be
this round.
difficult. Oh,
You said
man.
project there's 30?
30 projected leadoff hitters.
I haven't
on
looked at
roster
lineups
resource.
too much yet.
Oh, I haven't either.
It's a crapshoot. Just have fun,
Mookie
boys.
Betts.
Wait.
Yeah, that's good.
I was gonna ask, do we get 1 strike since like there's 30 possible answers?
That
just
isn't
for
even
the-
projected to lead off.
He is. He
Oh, he
was
actually is?
projected on roster
Okay.
resource. Yeah.
Do we want to agree we each get 1 strike, or just you're out once you get one wrong?
I'm good with either way. I'm fine either way.
I wasn't gonna give strikes. But if you guys want to have,
You're the one
One,
with the time limit, David. Don't forget, you have other things you have to do this evening.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's keep rolling. Okay.
all right, Bubba, to you,
Trey Turner.
David.
Jose
easy one.
Abreu.
What?
I mean, no. I'm sorry.
Altuve.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I meant Jose Altuve, not Abreu. Sorry.
yeah, that's right. That's
I'll
right.
let
That's all
that
right. I
slide.
totally-
I was like,
I got the Jose's
That was-
mixed up for a second.
that was an obvious,
Sorry.
obvious.
No, I thought he really meant Jose Abreu.
No, he was still on my brain from the last answer.
Marty.
Bo Bichette.
No, Marty's out. Doc.
It's been fun, guys.
Tommy Edman, and I saw it on roster resource.
That's right. Bubba.
Get off roster resource.
Yeah, stop cheating.
No, I looked at it for Brendan Donovan yesterday.
See,
Ronald
yeah,
Acuna Jr.
David.
It was going to be Luis Arraez for the Twins, but I'll go with Tim Anderson.
Doc.
Stephen Kwan.
Bubba.
Tony Kemp.
Boom. David.
Oh, you got that. Nice.
Yeah.
I will go with J-Rod.
No.
Doc.
He's leading off.
Yeah!
Wow.
He is. Yoshida.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll go
Bubba.
Brandon Nimmo.
Good one.
David.
Trey Turner already said.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll go with what's his name up? Brian Reynolds?
Doc. You're out. David.
So it's
O'Neal
neat.
Cruz.
Bubba. To you.
Is that a yes? O'Neal Cruz is
That's
a
a
yes?
yes.
I would have guessed
Yeah.
that. Wow.
I just wanted to make sure before I moved on.
I remember Marty's talking point from last week.
Okay, so I got to get this one. Otherwise, Doc ties me. This isn't cool. Trying to think out loud here in my head, going through teams. Give me 2 seconds.
Sure.
I'm going through each division.
You know what we
in my
should do
head.
if they tie break is that there'll be still people left and they go to a sudden death between the ones remaining to see who wins.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm like, oh, this is not cool. The Giants.
Come on, we can't give them all day.
Is the Giants still Thyro Estrada? 'Cause that's what it was a couple weeks ago.
The
That's
thyroid.
right.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. Thyroid Estrada. Doc, to you.
Cedric Mullins.
Ooh.
Oh, very good. To you, Bubba.
Back to me. Oh no. Yankees is Gleyber Torres.
Doc, to you.
Yeah, this is intense. This is intense. Marty, where's your popcorn? Let's get the popcorn out
Right.
here.
I need another beer.
There's a couple ways that I want to go with this. Ugh.
The right way would be a good choice.
Who leads off for the Detroit Tigers? Anybody know? Anybody know?
Does it matter?
I actually think I know.
Jesus. No, it doesn't.
I'm thinking about the teams we haven't named yet.
Right. Hard to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already know who I'm taking.
Is Juan Soto leading off?
No, he's not.
Xander Bogaerts.
No, he's not either.
That was it.
So if I get this right, I win the whole darn thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So David mentioned him earlier. Leading off for the Marlins is Luis Ariz.
That's right.
Whoa.
That's right. David did mention him earlier.
Good count.
Wow.
B-U-B-B-A.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Damn.
He just came in here. I literally thought Doc was going to tie you, Bubba. What a clutch performance.
Wait, Art, is Luis Rengifo leading off?
No, he's
No,
not.
they have Taylor
Riley
Ward
Green,
is
isn't it?
leading off.
Yeah, Taylor
Ward.
Taylor Ward.
You guys missed George Springer, Marcus Semien, Yandy
Mhm.
Diaz. Byron Buxton is listed as the current leadoff hitter.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Who is the Tigers out of curiosity? I forgot.
They have
Green, right?
Austin Meadows. They have Austin Meadows
Oh, that
as
is
the leadoff
garbage.
guy.
From the
I don't think
grave.
that's happening. I don't think it's happening. But
Well-
that's who they had listed. I mean, there's
Well done,
There's-
Art. That was
There's
good.
no
That
great
was a
game.
good. That was a good game. That's fair.
was
It's a
fun.
fair
I
game.
missed that.
Yeah.
There was no sudden death needed as Bubba came in here, stomped the competition 10-5 to 1-1 as 3-1 record. That's a pretty nice
I'll take
record.
my
I don't like
Wait,
it.
we noticed the one. You have a bruised nail on there. That's what
Yeah.
I did to you that one time.
That's how hard I've been working to get back to get my crown. Right
He's
there.
been listening to The Cure too much. Had a
That's right.
It just got smashed 2
Little
months
finger
ago and it
pain.
won't fall off. Trust me, it's no
Oh.
fun. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the worst. But Bubba, man, thanks so much for coming on the show. This is always a blast. I forgot how fun doing games were, and especially with you. So this is a good time. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Like I wasn't even kidding in the beginning. I love chatting with you guys, recording with you guys. It's always fun. Just we get the content out there. It's great, but it's a good time just chatting with friends. So thanks for having me. Anytime, I'm always down.
You're the man. And please, for those that are living under a rock, just tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter, all the podcasts you're doing, where they can find your work, and all the good stuff.
On Twitter at BDentrek, BDENTREK. I'll tweet everything out there too much, but yeah, Bench with Bubba is the go-to for me. Bubba and the Bloom, we started a new feed. So if you're used to getting it on Bench with Bubba, it's a new feed. Started like 3 episodes ago. So go check that out. We actually have some things we might be doing down the line. So go follow that. There's a Twitter account for that too, Bubba and Bloom. So Ryan's been putting that together. And then I got Bubba and the Bathflip on the Bench with Bubba feed. I'll have a DFS show like usual, Monday through Friday when that starts up. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. But yeah, just follow me on Twitter and you'll get the goods there. But again, awesome time, guys. Awesome.
The content machine known as KC Bubba does everything. One of the best people in the fantasy baseball community. So make sure you guys, if you're for some reason you're not following him, make sure you rectify that. Change that immediately. Follow this man for all the great stuff. But for Bubba, for Doc, for Marty Party, for LC, I'm D Mendy. We're going to make like a bread truck. We're going to haul these buns. Catch you guys next week.